So can we start?
Yes, yes.
Good morning, everyone. So our group is from 49 to 60, and our topic is text summarization in NLP. Now, as we all know, how busy schedule people have nowadays. So nobody prefers to read long summaries as it consumes a lot of time. So text summarization in NLP sorts out this problem. Text summarization in NLP is the process of summarizing the information in large text for quick consumption. Now, as students also, when we open news sites, we typically glance the short news summary and then read more details if we are interested. So the best example where summarization is used can be in shorts, as it does not consume so much of time. We all might have in shorts in our phone because it's a 60-word summary. So the method of extracting these summaries from the original huge text without losing the vital information is called as text summarization. There are different. Dhananjay, next slide. So there are different types of summarization. The very first one is extractive based text summarization. So the main objective is to identify the significant sentence of the text and add them to the summary. Here the summary obtained contains the exact sentence from the original text. So the extractive approach involves picking up the most important phrases and lines from the document. After picking up, it then combines all the important lines to create the summary. So in this case, every line and word of the summary actually belongs to the original document, which is summarized. So the procedure here is divided into three parts, which can be seen on the screen. That is, first is construction of an intermediate representation of the input text. So here it is divided into two parts, which is topic-based representation and indicator representation. Topic representation transforms the text into an intermediate representation and then interprets the topic discussed in the text. Whereas indicator representation describes every sentences as a list of formal features of importance, such as sentence length, etc. Now, scoring of the sentences is done. Scoring the sentence based on the representation. When the intermediate representation is generated, a score is assigned to each sentences. Then the summarization parts come into picture. Selection of some, that is the third part, selection of a summary comprising of a number of sentences. The summarizer system selects the top k most important sentences to produce a summary. Some approaches uses greedy algorithm to select the important sentences, whereas some approach may convert the selection of a sentences into an optimization problem, where a collection of sentences is chosen, considering the constraint, that is, it should maximize overall importance and coherency and minimize the redundancy. The second part is extraction, which will be explained by Spencer.
Yeah, abstraction in text summarization. This technique, unlike extraction, relies on being able to paraphrase and shorten part of a document. This is where the big length documents are getting shortened enough by considering the important contents of it. When such abstraction is done correctly in deep learning problems, one can be sure to have consistent grammar inside it and the important notice that has to be conveyed to the user. But this added layer of complexity, because to extract things which are required, which are like important to be seen, is really tough enough, which includes lots of complexities and algorithms to solve it at a cost of being hardened to develop then extraction. This is another way to come up with higher quality summarization. This approach is called aided summarization, which entails a combined human and software effort. This too comes in two different flavors, such like machine aided human summarization and human aided machine summarization. For machine aided human summarization, extractive technique highlights candidates passages to be included which the human may add or remove text. Whereas in human aided machine summarization, the human simply edits the output of the software apart from the main approaches to summarize text. There are other based on which summarization can be classified. Next to Vincia.
A multi-document summarization. It has a large set of documents that may have thematic diversity. Individual summaries may have overlapping content. Many desirable features of an ideal summary are relatively difficult to achieve in a multi-document setting, such as clear structure, meaningful paragraphs, gradual transition from general to specific, good readability. Whereas a single document summarization produces an abstract, outline, and headline. There are two major differences between single and multiple document summarizations. First, most approaches to single document summarization involve extracting sentences from the document. Second, most single document summarization systems, to a certain extent, make use of monolithic structure of the document. For example, one simple but quite effective way to write a summary for a single document is to take the first sentence from each paragraph and put them together in their original order. However, for multi-document summarization, the structure of a single document cannot be readily used in such a straightforward fashion. In this sense, multi-document summarization systems usually rely less on the structures of the documents. I'll hand it over to the next. Kevin.
So, hello everyone, my name is Kevin Paulson and I'll be explaining about the indicative versus informative summary. So, first, the indicative summary. So, indicative summary does not contain informative contents. It only contains the metadata, which is a description of the document. It is mainly used to inform the reader about the scope of the document and such to help them decide whether or not to consult the original document. You can find this type of summaries, for example, on the verses of the title page of books and reports. Now, coming down to the informative summary. Informative summaries contain the informative part of the original text. After reading it, we can tell that the main idea of the what the main idea of the original document was. You can find informative summaries in research articles where the author tries to present the essentials of his researching. Informative summaries should be objective, that is, without personal opinions in presenting the ideas of the source text. Thus, informative summaries are recommended for scientific, non-fictional works or to present objective reports of actual content. The main types of informative summaries are outlines, abstracts, and synopsis. So to summarize, we can say that the taxonomy of the summaries relies on the user's end goal. For instance, in indicative type of summaries, one would expect high-level points of an article, whereas in an informative overview, one may expect more topic filtering to let the reader drill down the summary. Now I would like to call on Chance to explain the next slide.
Document length and type. The length of the input text heavily influences the sort of summarization approach. The largest summarization dataset, like Newsroom by Cornell, have focused on news articles which are about 300 to 1,000 words on average. Extractive summarizers deals with such lengths relatively well. A multi-page documents or chapters of a book can only be summarized adequately with more advanced approaches like hierarchical clustering or discourse analysis. Additionally, the genre of the text influences the summarizer too. The method that would summarize a technical white paper would be radically different from the techniques that may be better equipped to summarize a financial statement. Like key phase extraction, document summarization aims to identify the essence of a text. The only real difference is that now we are dealing with large text units, whole sentences instead of white spaces. Next slide.
PageRank algorithm is an algorithm used by Google search to rank websites in the search engine results. PageRank was named after Larry Page, one of the founders of Google. According to Google, PageRank works by counting the and quality of links to a page to determine a rough estimate of how important the website is. It is not only the algorithm used by Google to order search engine results, but it is the first algorithm that was used by company, and it is best known. PageRank algorithm outputs a probability distribution used to represent the likelihood that a person randomly clicking on links will arrive at a particular page. Consider an example given as a web with 4 pages. Here you can see page A has links to 3 pages, that is B, C, and D. Page D has link to only 2 pages, A and D. C has a link only to page A, and D has a link only to page B. Suppose a random surfer starts at page A, then there are links to page B, C, and D. So this surfer will be next at each of these pages with a probability of 1 by 3, that is B, C, and D, and with a zero probability will arrive at A. The random surfer at B has a probability half of being at A or D, and a zero at B and C. Next slide.
So I will be talking about text rank algorithm. So a text rank algorithm is an extractive and unsupervised text summarization technique. It determines the relation of similarity between two sentences based on the content that both share. So now let us understand the steps to perform text rank algorithm. So first off, what we do is we extract all the text from the text document. Then we divide the text into sentences. After that, we find the vector form of the sentences, and after that, we find the compute the similarity between the sentences. So we do that by using the cosine similarity, and then we form a graph. We create a graph such that the node represents the sentences, while the weight on the edges between two nodes is found by using a similarity function. And then we find the importance of each node by iterating the algorithm until we get the rank calculation. And in the end, the sentences are sorted in a descending order based upon their scores. The first case sentences are chosen to be a part of the next summary. Next slide, please.
Evaluation techniques in text summarization. So let's see which methods are used for evaluation techniques. So basically two methods are used for evaluation of summarization. So the first one is an evaluation of generated summaries against an ideal summary, and the second one is the evaluation of how well summaries helps a person to perform in a task such as an information retrieval. For example, summary length was found to affect both type of evaluation. For the ideal summary based evaluation, accuracy decreases as the summary length increases, while for task based evaluation, summary length and accuracy of an information retrieval task appear to correlate randomly. The main approach of summary equality determination in intrinsic content evaluation, which is often done by comparison with the ideal summary. For sentence extracts, it is often measured by co-selection. It finds out how many ideal sentences the automatic summary contains. Content-based measure compares the actual word in a sentence rather than the entire sentence. Their advantages is that they can compare both human and automatic extract with the human abstract that contains newly written sentences. Next.
Okay, so challenges faced during the text summarization are as follows. First challenge is vector representation and similarity matrices attempt to find word association, but they still do not have a reliable method to identify the most important sentence. Another challenge in text summarization is the complexity of human language and the way people express themselves, especially in written text. Language is not only composed of long sentences with adjectives and adverbs to describe something, but also relative sentences, appositions, etc. Such insight may add valuable information. They do not help in establishing the main crux of information to be included into the summary. The another challenge is anaphora problem. Is another barrier in text summarization. In language, we often replace the subject in conversation with its synonyms or pronouns. The understanding of pronoun substitutes for which term is the anaphora problem. Then we have cataphora problem. It is the opposite problem of anaphora problem. In this, ambiguous words and explanation, a particular term is used in the text before introducing the term itself. Next up. So advantages of text summarization. First, summarizing reduces perusing time. Second, while investigating reports, outlines makes the determination procedure simpler. Third, summarization improves the adequacy of ordering. Fourth, summarization calculations are less one-sided than human summarizers. Fifth, personalized summarizers are useful in question answering systems as they provide personalized information. Sixth, utilizing program or summarization frameworks empower business theoretical administration to build the number of content archives they can process. Next, Charles will explain the applications.
So I will be discussing some applications of summarization. First one is media monitoring. Automatic summarization presents an opportunity to condense the continuous torrent of information into smaller piece of information. Second one, newsletters. Many weekly newsletters take the form of an introduction followed by a curated selection of relevant articles. Summarization would allow organizations to further enrich newsletters with a stream of summaries, which can be particularly convenient format in mobile. Internal document workflow. Large companies are constantly producing internal knowledge, which frequently gets stored and underused in databases as unstructured data. These companies should use tools that let them reuse already existing knowledge. Summarization can enable analysts to uh, quickly understand everything the company has already done in a given subject and quickly assemble report that incorporate different points of view. Legal contract analysis related. This is related to internal document workflow. More specific summarization system could be developed to analyze legal documents. In this case, a summarizer might add values by condensing a contract to the riskier clauses or help you compare agreements. Social media marketing. Companies producing long form content like white papers, ebooks, and blogs might be able to leverage summarization to break down this content and make it shareable on social media sites like Twitter or Facebook. This would allow companies to further reuse existing content. Question answering and bot. Personal assistants are taking over the workplaces and smart home. However, most assistants are fairly limited to very specific tasks. A large-scale summarization would become a powerful question answering technique by collecting the most relevant documents for a particular question. The summarizer could assemble a cohesive answer in the form of a multi-documents summary. So these were some applications of some summarization. Next, Guraj will continue with conclusion.
So I will conclude our presentation by giving a quick recap. Summarization means to reduce the size of document without changing its meaning. When we open new pages, we first look at the brief summary of the new news and then read more details if interested. The method of extracting these summaries from the original large text without losing important information and changing their meaning is called text summarization. It is one of the most researched area among the natural language processing community. A good summary should cover the most vital information of the original document or a cluster of documents while being coherent, non-redundant, and grammatically readable. Summarization methods are very important to capitalize on ever-increasing amount of data available online. In addition, the use of text summary reduces reading time, speed up the information search process, and increase the amount of information that can fit in an area. Summarization techniques are categorized into extractive and abstractive techniques. In extractive techniques, the main objective is to identify the significant sentence of the text. It is necessary that the summary obtained must contain exact sentence from the original text. Whereas in abstractive technique, unlike extractions, relies on being able to paraphrase or shorten parts of the document. There is another way to come up with higher quality summaries. This approach is called aided summarization, which entails the combined human and software efforts. These two comes in two different types. Machine-aided human summarization. The machine edits the summarized text by human, and human-aided machine summarization. The human simply edits the output of the software. There are two types of summaries. In indicative summary, it does not contain any informational content. It contains only the description of the document. And informative summary. It contains the informative part of the original text. After reading it, you can tell what the main idea are in the original document. We have seen techniques such as page rank algorithm, which measures the importance of website pages, and text rank algorithm is an extractive and unsupervised text summarization technique. And also we have seen few challenges faced in the text summarization, like vector representation and similarity matrix attempt do not have reliable method to identify the most important sentence. Another challenge in summarization technique is the complexity of human language and the way people express themselves, especially in written text, and also anaphora and cataphora problem. The tremendous development in the information technology has led to the availability of large number of documents on the internet. Summarizing such documents manually is time consuming and complex task. Also managing and retrieval of such document is difficult task. To overcome these difficulties, summarization is very useful. Thank you.